Squad? MizzyWorld Entertainment is back to present another episode of MadMizzy Sports, and I am your host, MadMizzy. I am here by myself as of the moment, but we diving right into it. Hope y'all having a good Friday so far. If you out watching me, if you at home watching me, hope you being safe and responsible. You dig what I'm saying? But let's dive right into it, man. We got to start it off with the huge black. I don't know. We can't call it Black Monday, but the end of eras, man. Nick Saban done in Alabama, Bill Bellichick done in New England, and then to a lesser degree, Pete Carroll done in Seattle. What was the most surprising move? Of course, it has to be Nick Saban. We had no inkling that he was even considering retirement. If you ask me, I mean, I follow college football. I haven't heard anything all season. Jalen Milroe was out of this world, and he's a young quarterback, so I didn't have any inkling or any type of hints that this was coming. I thought Nick was good. I thought he was going. I thought he doing commercials with Prime, with Affleck and the goat and the duck. You feel what I'm saying? And for him to step away after losing in the college football semifinals in overtime, it was shocking, man. It was utterly shocking. Not to mention that we had rumblings or news that New England and Bill Belichick were going to split up this year. We had rumblings of that all season, so it was no surprise right there. I was a little bit shocked by the Pete Carroll move and all that, but he's staying with the Seattle Seahawks. He's staying in the organization as far as like an advisor and this, that, and the third. So, of course, it's got to be huge news in the football landscape world universe that Nick Saban, the GOAT, is hanging it up, man. He's the greatest college football coach I've ever seen. I believe 7 national championships. I believe that's just with Alabama. I know he won with LSU. I know he was winning when he was at Michigan State. The dude knows how to coach football, man. All he does is win and exert dominance, man. It's going to be shocking to see where Alabama moves after this, how they'll try to recover. Because, I mean, New England has already started that process. Congratulations to Gerard Mayo being named the new head coach for the New England Patriots moving forward. But I don't see where the answer comes for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And my whole time, besides when Nick Saban was there, they've been garbage. You know what I'm saying? We knew about Bear Bryant and all that, but I wasn't old enough to watch Bear Bryant. So up until Nick Saban came there, that program was down in the gutter. So it was shocking to see him retire. It's shocking to see him hang it up. And I don't know where they move forward after this. Who wants to follow Nick Saban? Come on, man. At Alabama, you already got the number 1 wide receiver in the transfer portal. He said, get me out of here, man. Get me out of here. You feel what I'm saying? So it was shocking, unexpected. And as a football fan, I don't know what to expect from Alabama moving forward, man. It's going to be a rocky road for the Tide, man. It's going to be a rocky road. But I hope we get to see a lot more of Nick Saban, especially on most likely Pat McAfee's show. But yeah, let's move on and let's focus more so on Bill Belichick, because there's a lot of rumblings around the Bill Belichick move. He's out in New England, you know, with him having the failures or the perceived failures. He hasn't won a Super Bowl since Tom Brady has been there, and Tom Brady has won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. Is Bill Belichick the GOAT? In my opinion, Bill Belichick is the second best coach of all time. I know I talked about not watching coaches or this, that, and the third about Bear Bryant, but in my opinion, Bill Walsh, just because it is, 40 years later? Because he started in the 1980s. 40 years later, and there are still staples of his offense around in the NFL. NFL football that has evolved from run and gun to power to spread, RPO. You still see wrinkles of the West Coast offense. What does Mike McCarthy call it? The Texas Coast offense. You get what I'm saying? So for me, Bill Walsh is the greatest coach in NFL history. But Bill Belichick is right behind him, in my opinion. And I know we have a lot of stuff that's attached to him. The fact that he hasn't won without Tom Brady. The fact that you have Spygate, Deflategate, which is more so Brady, the Deflategate one, but you have Spygate surrounding him and all that. But 6 Super Bowl rings, as many as any other franchise. Well, more than any other franchise besides the Pittsburgh Steelers, who he's tied with at 6. You got Tom with 7, but I mean, listen, 6, that ain't nothing to sneeze at. And I just feel like as a Peyton Manning fan and watching him, just we know he's a brilliant, brilliant defensive mind. A brilliant defensive mind. And we know that, well, I don't know this. People probably would argue me. I would have loved to have my crew on here to chime in on this, but I don't believe Tom Brady is Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is not Bill Belichick without Tom Brady. So I feel like Bill deserves a lot more credit in the aspect of believing in Tom Brady, giving him the keys to the car, giving them the confidence that he needed to be as successful as he was and to become the Tom Brady that we know and love today. So for me, he's the second best coach of all time. What should he do? He should wait until don't go to the NFC South. I'm gonna say that. I don't know what my man gonna do. I don't know where his eyes is at right now, but don't go to the NFC South. You might win a division, but that's it. He ain't doing nothing else in the NFC South with any of those teams right now. So for me, I really do not see Bill Belichick in Los Angeles, so I don't see him taking the Chargers job. I can't really see him going to a team that doesn't have a quarterback or a perceived quarterback that has at least talent. So I mean, a lot of the entire NFC South is out, if you ask me. Like I said before, I like the Buffalo Bills, but if Sean McDermott wins his playoff game, he's not losing his job this year. He's not going to lose his job this year. I don't believe that's happening. I've heard rumblings about the Falcons. That's why I said don't go to the NFC South. I know Nick Wright is talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't see that if Nick Sirianni. I don't see that this year. I think they're going to stick with Nick Sirianni, at least give him one more year, although he is on the hot seat to me. It's tough. That's all I'm going to say is that it's tough. I don't know how to slice it any other way. For me, I would wait until that position that he wants opens up, and he's going to get whatever he wants. I feel like Jim Harbaugh might be the glitz and glamour for this offseason as far as coaches. So maybe Bill takes a year, maybe 2 away, or maybe a opening comes up that we don't see, or maybe he has confidence in going to one of these openings right now. I think he is very hungry and very still and it still has that competitive fire burning inside of him that he wants to address. So I don't know what he's going to do, but if I was Bill Belichick, I'm not going to the NFC South. I would consider the Chicago Bears. I would keep Justin Fields. That's just me, but I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a year off just to see what opens up as far as the NFL landscape goes, because we know he's going to have a pick of the litter. Let's move on, though. AFC playoffs. The squad and I touched on the playoffs last week. Or on Tuesday, we touched on the NFC playoffs. We all were on the Dallas Cowboys. I think we were split on the Lions. Yeah, we were split on the Lions and the Rams game, and we were all on the Eagles. So we're going to flip the script. Let's go to the AFC playoffs. We're going to start it off with the 2-7 matchup. We got the Buffalo Bills hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. For me, this game, I was going to call the upset on this game, but with no TJ Watt, who's probably going to end up being the defensive player of the year, they're going to gear up on Highsmith. I think it's going to be a close game, but I don't see them making the requisite plays without TJ Watt. You know, TJ Watt come up with big plays, big moments, scoring plays sometimes. Like, the dude is an absolute monster. So for the Pittsburgh Steelers to not have TJ Watt out there, that's a huge hit to me. Say hi. Yeah, that's going to be a huge hit to me. Yeah, that's my baby girl, Lay. That's going to be a huge hit to me, and I just don't see them making enough plays. Although I do see it being closer than the experts think. I think Mason Rudolph will play pretty well, but it's going to be it's too tough of an uphill battle. Give me the Buffalo Bills, and I got them covering the spread. Let's move on to the next game, the Saturday night, the huge game. -30 degrees in Kansas City. Miami Dolphins at the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. For me, I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. You think about the numbers that are out there as far as the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniels and Tua Tagovailoa and cold weather games, 0-4 and 40 or below. When it's less than 75 degrees outside, Tua is 6-13. You know, he grew up in Honolulu. He went to college in Alabama, played in the SEC. All that is tough, but that ain't elements that you can't control. You get what I'm saying? Like, you do instill your toughness and your tolerance for the cold by playing in the cold. Point blank, period. So to see those statistics from the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa in those cold weather situations, there's no way I'm seeing them go out there and beat the greatest quarterback, the greatest playoff quarterback in NFL history at home. I don't see it. You get what I'm saying? They should be the 2 seed right now if they go out there and make the simple plays. If Mike McDaniel's running the ball, they are the 2 seed right now. They found a way to find themselves in Kansas City in negative 30 degrees, and they gonna feel that pain because them hits in that cold weather. That's when you really figure out who tough. That's when you find out who really instilled that toughness and who gonna sit there and be happy that they getting a game check after this. Who gonna be running to the locker room? That's what we gonna find out in this game, and we know what team that is. Pat Mahomes want to hoop. I don't care what it is. You hear what I'm saying? He want to hoop. Trav and them, they want to hoop. So I would be absolutely shocked if the Miami Dolphins come in there and upset the Kansas City Chiefs. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs and give me them to cover the spread. We moving on to the final game. What is that final game with in the AFC? We got the Houston Texans hosting the Cleveland Browns. This is a tough one because you got a top tier defense going up a rookie quarterback in his first time in the playoffs. For me, I can't go against CJ Stroud at home, man. Not especially when you think about Joe Flacco has been a turnover machine. Yes, he's going out there and he's making big plays and they're getting the most out of David Njoku. He out there looking like Shannon Sharp. Shout out to Unc. But the dude is giving the ball over. He's giving the ball up too. And we know in the playoffs, you got to play good defense and take care of that ball. I don't know if Joe Flacco is going to be able to take care of the ball. So I'm going to go with the young upstart, youngest team to make the playoffs, I believe, in NFL history. And the Houston Texans, they are stupid young out there. But I would it's hard for me to see the Cleveland Browns defense being that dominant against the Houston Texans, in which I think they have to be, because I don't trust Joe Flacco. Like I've been saying before, I think the clock is going to strike midnight and he's going to turn back into a pumpkin when we need him the most. Well, when they need him the most, because I ain't a Cleveland Browns fan. Y'all see you feel what I'm saying? So yeah, final game. I'm gonna go with the Houston Texans. But I think that Cleveland is going to cover the spread. I think it's going to be a close one. I just think that Houston been in some tight games this year, and I think they know they just got that trust and that faith, and they're going to get their first playoff win. They're going to get smacked in the second round, though. But that's for later on. We're going to say that for later. Let's stay with the playoffs. But the overall NFL playoff picture, I done predicted the AFC. The team predicted the NFC. What do I expect in the playoffs, man? My upset to look out for in these playoffs would be, I would say I'm gonna say, of course, the Los Angeles Rams over the Detroit Lions, just because that's a very, very close matchup right there. And I picked the Detroit Lions to win this game. But if you listen to pundits around the nation right now, and they believe that the Los Angeles Rams are the overall better team. They got the better quarterback. They got the better coach. They got the better defense. They ain't got the better record. You know what I'm saying? They didn't play better all year. So I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions, but I would not be shocked if the Los Angeles Rams, who just won the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago, ended up going into Detroit and stealing that game. So, yeah, for me, that's the upset to look out for. Who has the most on the line in the first round of the playoffs? Of course, it's the Dallas Cowboys. Or you might want to say the Philadelphia Eagles, but I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys because nobody is expecting the Philadelphia Eagles to do anything. If they lose to the Bucs, it's not going to be, oh, my God. It's going to be, oh, they carried how they was playing in the regular season into the playoffs, which most teams do. So, but if the Dallas Cowboys at home, being the best team in the NFL at home all season, lose to Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, oh, that is nothing that Cowboys nations want to hear, because I feel like at that point everybody is in question. If you go out there, you lose to Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, of course Mike McCarthy is probably out, but then you got to start questioning Dak. You get what I'm saying? You cannot keep having these playoff lows when you have such highs in the regular season. You can't lose to teams you're not supposed to lose. So you lose to a team that has an elite, that we look at it has elite talent or has an elite quarterback. And Jordan Love is good, but he is not elite just yet. So that, to me, Dallas Cowboys, y'all got the most pressure in the playoffs this postseason. But yeah, overall, I'm looking for a crazy playoff. But I think the headline heading into round number 2 is going to be, did we underestimate the Kansas City Chiefs? I see a dominating win against the Miami Dolphins, and I think we're going to sit up there and start questioning if they're the best team in the AFC. Although we know what the Ravens are, and we know how the Kansas City Chiefs looked all year, that's the same team that won the Super Bowl last year. And all they got to do is stop dropping the rock. And listen, they a whole different team this year. So I think the headline heading into next week in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs will be, are the Kansas City Chiefs the Super Bowl favorites? Look out for the Kansas City Chiefs to dominate and win over the Miami Dolphins. Let's move over to the NBA. Last night we had blowout after blowout after blowout like my goddamn fro. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it was just astonishing. The Bucks came out, just smacked the Boston Celtics in the mouth. They don't even bring their starting 5 out for the third. So TNT, like, listen, man, we about to go around the NBA and see what's going on. At first, they go to the OKC Portland Trailblazers game. They beating on them by 30. I'm like, damn. Then they go to the Dallas Mavericks against the New York Knicks. They beat them by 20. But then they started playing a little bit better. It got closer to like a 14, 12-point game before they turned that game off. Shout out to Kyrie Irving, Tim Hardaway Jr. for balling out last night, getting that dub without Luka Doncic out there. Terrible loss for the New York Knicks when, you know what I'm saying, y'all try and get back into the mix. But was I impressed by the Milwaukee Bucks? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let me tell you why. Not just because I'm a homer. Not just because y'all know I'm rooting for Giannis and Dame. Those are 2 of my favorite players in the NBA right now, aside from Steph Curry. To me, when you look at how the Boston Celtics are constructed, how will they be able to take advantage of the biggest weakness for the Milwaukee Bucks? And that is their perimeter defense. Are you expecting Derek White and Drew Holiday to really take off offensively and be averaging 25 points per game in the playoffs? Something like that? For a piece, because that's what you need. You get what I'm saying? They lose because the perimeter gets broken down and then everything else collapses. Yesterday, and the first time that they played each other, Drew or Derek White didn't have too good of a games. Not to mention, that's been the Boston Celtics ever since Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. It's been offensively, it's Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum or bust. You get what I'm saying? That's why they try to go out there, get the Kemba Walkers. They try to go out there, get the Kyrie Irvings. And then they for some reason, those didn't work out, so they just focused on getting the defensive oriented guards around them dudes. But that put more pressure on them two to be the entire offense. Now, you'll have Al Horford go out there, snap out every now and again. It's paramount that Kristaps Porzingis stays healthy for the Boston Celtics. But right now, they're not going to be able to take advantage of the biggest weakness for the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's their perimeter defense. Malik Beasley and Damian Lillard are not lockdown defenders, but you don't have the offensive weapons to take advantage of that. You don't got to be lockdown defenders to slow down Derek White and Drew Holiday offensively. So for me, I was very impressed by the Milwaukee Bucks. You think about the first game, and everybody was like, oh, it's the second of the back-to-back, this, that, and the third. Listen, I understand all that, but that was an ass whooping. You get what I'm saying? You sat to starting 5 for the entire second half, bro. You don't do that in no professional ball game, bro. I don't want to hear about no back-to-back 5 games in 7 nights bull jive. You feel what I'm saying? All the critics out there about the Milwaukee Bucks, give them their props. They came out there and they did what they were supposed to do against a dominant team. But I was super impressed just because they took advantage of what they were supposed to, and this is something that's sustainable. Because just like they say about the Bucks and their defense, what else can Boston do to kind of help out Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown besides rely on Kristaps Porzingis to remain healthy. So for me, I was highly impressed by the Milwaukee Bucks, and I think that they're rounding into shape. Watch out for them. And the critics is going to be the critics, but listen, man, I think they're going to figure it out, and I think they're going to come together. And you got to think that's still a rookie head coach out there, and Adrian Griffin trying to figure it out. So he's still trying to figure out how to get his word through. Watch out for that team, man. Watch out for that team. Let's move over to the Western Conference. OKC, as I stated, beat the brakes off of the Portland Trailblazers. It's going to be a long rebuild for the Portland Trailblazers, man. They lost by 62 points to the Oklahoma City Thunder. That Oklahoma City Thunder, I believe, are the number 1 team in the Western Conference right now. Might be the number 2 team in the entire NBA. You lost by 62, bro. That is NBA. That's 15. That's 12 to 15 NBA players on that Portland Trailblazers roster. Scoot, where you at? He might be hurt. I don't know. I don't follow the Portland Trailblazers without Dame there. You feel what I'm saying? But listen, man, everybody was high on Scoot coming out. He hasn't lived up to the hype. But I want to focus on OKC and Minnesota. Minnesota took Boston Celtics to overtime, the game the Thursday night. Well, no, Wednesday night. So that's why a lot of people giving the Boston Celtics a pass on that ass whooping they took last night. But to me, I'm looking at Minnesota, I'm looking at OKC, and for me, who has the better shot of winning the Western Conference this year? I would probably say OKC because they're young and I think they're deeper. You get what I'm saying? I just think they're deeper when you think about SGA, Chet Holmgren, Josh Giddey. They're a deep team. They're a very well-coached team, and there's nothing to do in OKC. Now, I know it's nothing to do in Minnesota, but you still got a little something to do. You got Mall of America out there. You got something to do. You get what I'm saying? A lot more, well, a little bit more, exponentially more to do than in Oklahoma City. I was actually in Oklahoma City. That's a dead city right there. You know what I'm saying? I would not suggest visiting Oklahoma City, man. I don't want none of my fans. I mean, if you from Oklahoma City, shout out to you. But man, you know it ain't shit. It ain't shit to do out there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for me, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma City. I think they hungry right now, and I think that they just have a consistent formula. Right now, I still look at Minnesota as like a very Cat and Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards heavy team. And I look at OKC and you got Shy doing this thing, but everybody else is just, they know they roll so well. You get what I'm saying? They mesh together so well. They such a well put together puzzle that I think they'll have a better shot at winning the Western Conference. Let's stay in the Western Conference, though. Talk about another team that took a beat down last night, the Los Angeles Lakers, man, losing, I believe, 129 to 107. I don't know. It was a 20-point loss, 20-point plus loss, or something around that range. What's wrong with the Lake Show? For me, the Lake Show relied too heavily on LeBron James. It's the same old issues that we have since Bron's been there. He wants to pass the torch to AD. AD don't want to take it. They don't ever have a third option consistently. Who's the third guy? Austin Reeves. He was out there getting baked. Barbecue chicken. You feel what I'm saying? So they gave him the money. They talk about going after Dejounte Murray. I don't see where the Lakers go besides relying on 39-year-old LeBron James playing like he's 29-year-old LeBron James. I don't see where they go. So I think they exerted way too much energy into winning that in-season tournament. They completely collapsed after that. I think they lost 11 of 13 games after that. I'm just not impressed by what I'm seeing from the Los Angeles Lakers right now. They're old. They're not athletic. They still can't shoot. And LeBron ain't getting no younger. To me, for them to get to where they need to be, it's almost like the Warriors when I said, yeah, if Steph steps up to that MVP type level, yeah, the Warriors can be something. If AD steps up to that MVP type level, because I'm not expecting that from LeBron James, then yeah, the Lakers can be something. But when was the last time we was talking about AD as an MVP? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Lakers rely too heavily on 39-year-old LeBron James. Let's stay in the Western Conference. Let's stay in that game. Phoenix Suns, Los Angeles Lakers. Let's talk about the winning team. The Phoenix Suns finally get a win with the big three in there. You had Devin Booker doing his thing. Bradley Beal led the way with, I believe, 37 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 assists, something like that. He ain't had no 8, nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then you had KD throwing a little light 18, something like that. Will they finish in the top 4 in the Western Conference? For me, I don't see them finishing top 4 in the Western Conference. Right now, I believe they're the 8th seed. I just think that top 4 is so heavy. I was already talking about who's going to finish number 1 out of OKC, Minnesota. You got Denver right behind them, Dallas right behind them. Who else you got out there in the Western Conference? You got the Sacramento Kings. They on right now getting smacked by the Sixers in Philly. But yeah, you got the Western, the top half of the Western Conference. I don't see who falls. I don't see who falls, and I don't see them being healthy enough to go on a crazy winning streak, like a 10, 12 game winning streak where they're going to make up a lot of ground. So no, I don't see them finishing in the top 4. That does not mean they can't win the Western Conference, but it'll make it exponentially harder. The Phoenix Suns, I think they gave up too much for their players. They top heavy, and everything has to go through Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. And I don't know how much you can rely on Bradley Beal. We know what we're going to get from Devin Booker and KD, but we also seen that wasn't enough last year. So we never seen winning basketball from Bradley Beal. We haven't seen him stay healthy over the past 4 years. Listen, we expecting a lot from people that haven't done it recently. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think they'll finish in the top 4, but I do see them being a scary team once the playoffs hit because they got the superstars, and we know this is a superstar-driven league. Let's get into this last little segment before we end it off, and I send y'all on your way to have a marvelous weekend. The NBA predictions on ESPN tonight. Right now, I already said we got the Kings and the Sixers on. The Sixers are beating the Kings 46-33. It might be a little bit more right now because they just went to a timeout, so they might have bumped it up. Who knows? Do I see the Kings coming back? I do see the Kings coming back. Do I see them winning? I'm going to say no, not in Philadelphia, although Joel Embiid is not playing the way that the Sixers are playing right now, and they need a dub. They've been on a little losing streak without having Joel Embiid, so I think that they're going to come out there with some urgency to get this dub, and I like the Philadelphia 76ers. I think they're going to close it out, but I do think the Sacramento Kings going to come back and make it a game. The second game that's coming on tonight is the New Orleans Pelicans. That's another team that's ahead of the Lakers right now, I believe, in the playoffs. If Zion can stay healthy, I don't see how the Suns. I don't see how the Suns passing them. But you got the New Orleans Pelicans at the Denver Nuggets. I'm gonna go with the Denver Nuggets and the Mile High. They're a tough team at home. Nikola Jokic. I'm a Michael Porter Jr. fan. KCP out there. Aaron Gordon doing this thing, going to make it tough on Zion. They so long. They going to really clog the lane on Zion. And Brandon Ingram, you know he like to take a lot of mid-range, like poor man KD. But I think the Pelicans can make it a close game. But, of course, I'm going to go with the defending champion, Denver Nuggets. They've been flying under the radar this year, and I think that's how they like it. I think they want to stay around that 3 range, that 2-3 range where they winning, but they not looking just unbeatable. You get what I'm saying? And they all in a Jokic don't even want to win MVP. That dude just out there doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? He want to go out there, ball, try to win a championship. All right, we don't. I'm going to pet my horses for the other 4 months in a year. You feel what I'm saying? So shout out to Nikola Jokic and his nonchalantness of how he approaches the game, man. But yeah, give me the Nuggets tonight. Give me the Denver Nuggets tonight. Let me know what y'all think. The rundown, end of eras. You got Nick Saban done in Alabama. You got Pete Carroll done in Seattle. And of course, you got Bill Belichick done in New England. Gerard Mayo already replaced him. Shout out to Gerard Mayo on landing that huge opportunity, that job in New England. Where does Bill Belichick rank all-time head coaches? What should be his next move? AFC playoffs prediction and breakdown. What do y'all have winning the games in the AFC side of the playoff bracket? Overall playoffs, looking at it, what do y'all think is going to be the top headline? Who's on upset alert and who has the most pressure to win in wild card weekend? Were y'all impressed by the Milwaukee Bucks? My nose, I'm all clogged up. Were y'all impressed by the Milwaukee Bucks beating the brakes off of the Boston Celtics last night? Oklahoma City Thunder or the Minnesota Timberwolves, who has a better shot of finishing with the number 1 seed in the Western Conference? What's wrong with the Los Angeles Lakers? Will the Phoenix Suns get inside the top 4 in the Western Conference? And predictions tonight. Who do y'all have winning in the Sacramento Kings at the Philadelphia 76ers and the New Orleans Pelicans at the Denver Nuggets? Y'all know what it is, man. MadMizzy Sports Live. Like, comment, share, subscribe, listen, alert. Have a great weekend. Enjoy y'all Friday. Be safe out here. I'll see y'all Tuesday. Gang.